TRANSNET as a state-owned organisation plays a very, very important strategic role in South Africa, and then also in terms of support of Southern Africa and Africa as a continent. The African Union has identified South Africa as being the rail centre of excellence for the continent. And in meeting government strategic objectives of addressing imbalances of the past, TRANSNET strives to ensure that we drive empowerment, transformation and sustainable economic growth within the supplier base in South Africa. So this is now looking at how do we create the skills and develop our supply chain by bringing small organizations in, small black-owned, black youth-owned, black women-owned organizations into our supply chain. How do we develop them to become competitive? The greatest gift that any organization can give to developing suppliers is the ability for them to be competitive and internationally competitive, because that creates sustainability outside of the realms of just our local economy, but makes them global players, even although they might be small. South Africa is also got a very large drive around the creation of industrialization, and also specifically focusing on black industrialists. Now, TRANSNET, as one of the larger state-owned entities, can play a very, very strong role and has a large impact in the South African economy due to the size of our procurement spend. Obviously, you cannot industrialize everything. It all goes around the economies of scale of the current economy, the current demands within the economy, as well as the regional economy within which we operate. So we do strong market analysis to see where the opportunities are that we can actually facilitate and drive industrialization, investment in plant, bringing in OEMs to transfer skills and intellectual property to local companies, setting up of manufacturing plants, setting up of factories. So we do drive this either directly with our own supplier base or through large OEMs and their downstream supplier base, where we try and drive the creation of industrialization and black industrialists. There has been a growth in the manufacturing sector as a result of TRANSNET's procurement spend, and which is a very, very positive sign. And we will continue to strive to grow these areas. But obviously we need to make it sustainable. So in our current economic environment, where the whole economy is down and under pressure, it does make it slightly difficult to create sustainable organizations, but we are working with them to ensure that we have a longer view in the economy to ensure that there is sustainability going forward. Historically, organizations would have CPOs or Chief Procurement Officers, but the move is now to drive these roles into Chief Supply Chain Officers, where you are moving from a customer-supplier basis to being more of a strategic partner, strategic enabler in an organization. You will always still have, with certain suppliers, just a customer-supplier relationship for your non-strategic products, for products that are plentiful out there, where there's a solid economy and a solid base for these suppliers. But you do have certain commodities that are really, really strategic, either to the country or to the organization, where you would drive different behaviors. You would look at a stronger level of supplier partnering. Where if we as an organization do well, the suppliers, our partners do well. When the economy is putting downward pressure on us, our suppliers will go through this with us. But it is obviously to drive sustainability going forward. It is also the strategic partnership of what supply chain can do within its own organization to enable the organization to be able to grow its revenues, drive services and capability out throughout the country through the delivering of our services, as well as looking at new innovative ways of engaging with strategic partners to provide goods and services in different methods and different ways into organizations. There's a very, very strong link between an organization's competitiveness and industrial competitiveness as well as growth within a country. And supply chain is the catalyst of this. An organization becomes competitive by being innovative in the services or the infrastructure it utilizes to provide these services. And obviously, as TRANSNET, we strive to get excellence through our supply chain to provide innovative products into our services or the infrastructure relating to our services. Obviously, I mean, there's long ways to go regarding technological enhancements, but we are striving and driving these types of things, looking at the disruptors that are currently in the market. 3D printing, for example. We do know there are certain industrial leaders worldwide that are actually being successful with some of these types of initiatives. And these are the types of things that we want to investigate and see how we can then potentially bring these into our supply chains to improve our organization. TRANSNET's supply chain is also creating industrial competitiveness within the South African economy. Through some of our large procurements, our programmatic type procurements, we are driving to get the suppliers, either the primary suppliers or the downstream suppliers, to become part of global OEMs, global supply chains. So this process would basically entail a large OEM identifying a manufacturing concern within South Africa that can actually competently manufacture goods and services for the OEM in the product it's providing to TRANSNET. But then also to take them and develop them further to ensure that their manufacturing processes are productive, are efficient, are effective, the quality of the product produced meets the minimum requirements, and then also over and above all is that the cost competitiveness will enable them to become part of global supply chains. And through driving this, obviously we will be creating an industrial competitive hub within South Africa that can then provide product and services into Southern Africa, Africa as well as worldwide. And this will bring economic wealth and growth to South Africa. You can't grow within your own borders. The size is the size. But the minute you become globally competitive, you actually bring in foreign revenues and foreign business into the country that can then help grow and provide economic growth for the organization, thus creating positive impacts on our GDP. Also in terms of job creation, obviously, all the economists have all these fancy formulas that prove for every R1,000,000 that you spend, you create and support X number of jobs within the economy. But obviously, we want to create sustainable jobs going forward. And the only way to create sustainability is to enable a supplier to come into the TRANSNET supply chain and become competitive so that they don't have to rely on any business from TRANSNET after the contract has been concluded. For them to become a valuable participant in the economy post-TRANSNET. This is what we try and strive for with our suppliers. We try and get the small organizations to get the skills, the technologies, the intellectual properties to enable themselves to be able to be competing in the market for other business over and above anything that comes from TRANSNET. So from a long-term socio-economic development perspective, if we create sustainable organizations in the economy, these sustainable organizations create jobs. And these jobs basically help get the people into meaningful employment, thus creating the aspect of more funds in the economy, allowing them to grow almost like as a family, providing a future for everyone in the country.